Hello, my name is Heather Butts with Health Views, and this is another COVID-19 update. So the updates today are going to come from Governor Cuomo's update, and so just going to talk a little bit about what he said, some interesting updates that he has, and then next steps for New York specifically and the country as a whole. So in New York, which is where I reside, the numbers for hospitalizations for the 3-day rolling average, hospitalizations for intubations, for deaths are all down. The deaths in New York State from 2 days ago were 231, and they've been in the 200s, the low 200s for several days now. Interestingly enough, over 27,000 healthcare facility employees have been tested for COVID-19. And in comparing the numbers of people who had COVID who are healthcare workers versus general population, in Westchester, 6.8% of healthcare workers tested positive versus 13.8% of the population. New York City, 12.2% versus 19.9% of the general population. And Long Island, 11.1% versus 11.4%. So the numbers for people who have COVID are down slightly for healthcare workers. And it also makes the case that masks and gloves and sanitizers, they really do work. They do work. Now, our governor talked a lot about New Yorkers facing financial hardship and talked about the unemployment payment through the federal government for $600 that has somewhat helped to alleviate the problem, but not entirely. There's an interesting program, actually it's a really fabulous program that New York has started, and it's called Nourish New York Initiative. It's a $25 million initiative to provide relief to purchasing food and products from upstate farms and directing them to food banks across New York State. So 50 food banks, soup kitchens, and food pantries will receive the support, and over 2,100 New York farms will be participating. The goal is that over 20,000 households across the state will receive Nourish NY products within the next week. And then over the next 6 months, Nourish New York will provide 2.8 gallons of milk, 8.2 million units of yogurt, 10.1 million pounds of apples, and 10 million pounds of cabbage to New Yorkers. There's a way that philanthropies and foundations can help. COVID philanthropies at exec.ny.gov is the way they can help. The other topic that the governor talked about was rent relief and banning late fees or fees for missed payments during eviction moratorium. We have an eviction moratorium right now, which was extended to August 20th. So this allows renters facing financial hardship due to COVID to use their security deposit as a payment and repay deposits over time. As I mentioned, the moratorium is extended to August 20th, and no one can be evicted for non-payment of rent. The governor also talked about the comparison of the economy to public health and how we reopen at this point, and the fact that we do have to reopen, which is correct. It's just how are we going to do it? And we should be willing to base our decision on facts and data as opposed to emotions and politics, which is a good way to look at it. And how we look at data is looking at a lot of the numbers that we've been looking at, number of hospitalizations, number of deaths, and so forth. So that is the update for today. Thank you very much for your time, and I will see you again on Tuesday, May 12th. Bye.